Hello everybody, Kite562 here, and I have a little review of Beastars Volume 1. Now, for this review, I'm just going to break down to what scenes of this manga really stood out to me as a reader, and I just want to mainly focus on that. The characters I'm mainly going to talk about in this volume are Legoshi, Louie, and Haru, and I'm just going to give my general thoughts on the story, the setting, and all that jazz within this review itself. Now, the main starting chapter of this manga is we see a poor defenseless student alpaca named Tim get ferociously eaten by an unknown assailant, and that's where the story starts rolling with Beastars. As a little bit of panic and chaos ensues at Cherryton Academy, we see a lot of students trying to figure out what's going on, and we see a lot of distrust between both the carnivores and herbivore students as this manga goes from chapter to chapter. Now, I want to talk about Legoshi. Legoshi, he's a gray wolf. You can consider him our eyes and ears into the world of Beastars. This series comprises of a lot of other characters too, like for instance in Volume 1, we can see what happens to Haru, Louie, the red deer. Haru's a white rabbit, white dwarf rabbit if you want to be specific. So yeah, I'm just going to give my general thoughts to the best of my ability and just talk about which characters really stood out to me as a reader, and just give my overall thoughts on how I enjoyed the story so far near the end. So sit back, relax, and enjoy what I have to say. So anyway, here's the review. Anyway, as I stated, we see a poor defenseless alpaca named Tim get devoured and brutalized and ravaged bit by an unknown assailant, and you can just see the blood spatter upon the panel if you've read Volume 1. So yeah, it's just the poor guy was in such a panic to get to somewhere safe, but it was to no avail, since carnivores in this universe, or carnivores in general, have an unfair advantage against herbivores, since it's divided between carnivores, herbivores, predator and prey. Just a lot of interesting conflicts unfolded within this one volume alone, and it just kept me going and going. Like, I want to say near the middle of the manga, when Legoshi is interacting with Louie in the office, and then Louie grabs Legoshi's tail and wants him to bite him. Legoshi refuses, but he doesn't, since Legoshi himself it wants to be more friendly towards the herbivores and doesn't really want to rely on his strength as a carnivore, and he hates it. Legoshi hates being born a carnivore, and I just thought this character dynamic was really interesting. So when Tim died, Louie, the head actor of Cherryton's drama club, has to find a replacement for his role, so Louie has to rehearse with this goat named Zoe. So yeah, with Louie, he's very aggressive at the beginning, kinda has a carnivore-like personality, but he's actually a red deer. So he's very brooding and broken and just hates being born a herbivore, and just wants Legoshi to just go crazy with his strength, and just why doesn't he give in to his strength, he keeps on telling to himself. And Louie's just observing Legoshi's hands, his claws, his nails, and Legoshi's just a gentle soul, and I can't help but feel for the poor guy, and it just makes this whole story so human. And there's a lot more other interesting characters as well. Most of the scenes that I'm talking about are like main points that I'm going to talk about in this review. Like, I have to say, when the rehearsal happens for Zoe and Louie, Legoshi is asked to be a lookout for Louie so they don't get caught or suspended and whatever. But again, when that happens, Legoshi crosses paths with a white rabbit named Haru. So yeah, he ends up going a little berserk with his carnivore instincts and ends up catching her in the dead of night, since he sensed her presence. And he almost ends up eating her until Zoe snaps Legoshi out of it. So close call for that one. And I just have to say, the visuals in this manga are just absolutely phenomenal. Like, you can see every stroke of like aggression, especially with Legoshi's inner demon. It starts out as like this little mini chibi thing, whatever you want to call it, and then it just metastasizes into this giant wolf looking frantic demon. And again, that just seems so human since everybody in the world has to deal with their own demons at some point. And it's just really amazing how this one story pulled me in so well. And I have to say, my favorite parts of the manga of volume 1 has to be how like everything just suddenly staccatoed open to like many different twists and turns, and everybody's at each other's throat like verbally. One side's blaming the other and they're not really thinking things through. And it's just absolutely amazing at where it takes your mind and what kind of questions it gives you internally as a reader. And it's just, oh, it's just absolutely great. Absolutely phenomenal storytelling by Paru Itagaki, which she is the author of this manga. It's written and illustrated by her and published by Viz Media. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this chapter, and I've read up to volume 8, but again, I'm focusing on volume 1, so I'm definitely going to continue more. If you want to continue a discussion down in the comments, please. I love interacting with people. So, yeah, leave a comment down below. Tell me, have you read Beastars? Are you planning on reading Beastars? Again, in my all honest opinion, before I end this audio video thing, whatever you want to call it, podcast, whatever, if you have it playing in the background, I say definitely pick up the first 3 volumes of Beastars because that's what I did, and that's what really chose me to keep on reading more, and it just keeps on getting better and better, and I plan on doing a review on other volumes as well as they release. So I cannot wait to read more. Volume 1 is a really nice slow burner shonen of a manga, so it's just a really wonderful murder mystery take. And again, this is Kite562. If you haven't read Beastars, in my honest opinion, pick up the first 3 volumes. This video is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, but please support this series, and I feel it can become a very amazing modern manga masterpiece of literature. And I cannot wait to read and collect more of the manga. It's just, Paru Itagaki, thank you for writing this wonderful series, and I cannot wait to read more. So, again, this is Kite562, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Always take in the positive and don't take in the negative. This is Kite562 signing out. Keep on reading, everybody. Later.